NFL Senior Bowl players to watch. Now we're going to cover the top 5 defensive players to look for in this Senior Bowl. I'm going to pick one player from each position. That's cornerback, safety, linebacker, defensive tackle, and defensive end. Let's get started. But before we get all the way into it, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for all your NFL news, draft news, scouting reports on the prospects, and all NFL offseason news. Keep it locked in to Draft Capital Sports. Now let's get back to the matter at hand. Now first we're going to start on the back end of that defense, and we're going to look at the cornerback out of Toledo, Quinan Mitchell, standing at 6 feet, 195 pounds. Now he has a long wingspan, 31 inches, 9-inch hands. Big hands always matter as far as getting your hands on that ball, intercepting the ball, getting those pass deflections, and this man is a demon at getting pass deflections. This past season, he had 18 PDs with only 1 pick, but in 2022, he had 41 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 5 picks for 2 touchdowns, and 19 pass deflections. Yes, that's almost 40 pass deflections the past 2 seasons. Now, he's a top athlete and a big hitter, can play zone or man, but he does get caught gambling at times and doesn't always have the recovery speed to make up for the mistake. Now, of course, playing at Toledo, he didn't always play top competition, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles himself against some of the best in the nation at the wide receiver position in coverage. Now, next up on the list, we have the big safety out of Miami, safety / probably linebacker, James Williams, standing at 6'4", 230 pounds. He has a 33-inch wingspan, 9-inch hands. Now, this past season at Miami, he has 73 tackles, 1 pick, 5 pass deflections, and 2 forced fumbles, and that gets into his main asset is he can hit. For being such a long guy, he knows how to get himself down, compact, uncoil, and lay out wide receivers and running backs alike. Now, Williams' unique size and height is perfect for that nickel package in the NFL today. He can play linebacker, he can play nickelback, he can be an excellent disguise player on defense, and this will probably shoot him up the draft boards, but it depends on how he handles the one-on-one coverage and will he be able to hold his own against the top wide receivers and tight ends at the Senior Bowl. Now next up we have linebacker Payton Willis out of North Carolina State, standing at 6'4", 235 pounds. Now he has shorter arms, 30-inch arms, 9-inch hands. Supposedly he runs a 4.59 at that size, and I must say I don't really doubt it because the speed shows up on tape. Now this past season at NC State, he had 138 tackles, 6 sacks, 17.5 tackles for a loss, 6 pass deflections, and 3 picks. This man plays at every linebacker position, and he does it well. He comes off the edge, he can play in the middle, he can man up on a tight end, hook zone, flat zone, curl flat, whatever you need. Payton Wilson is all over the field. The only drawback is he's had a plethora of injuries during his time at NC State. He didn't have any last year, really, so we'll see if he holds up and how he shows out at this Senior Bowl practices and the game. Now, next up, we're going to the edge position, and Nelson Cesar, or Caesar, however you want to say it, out of Houston University, standing at 6'3", 245 pounds. He has 33-inch arms and 10-inch hands. Arm length can be very important for defensive end and keeping tackles from getting inside their body and blocking them to the ground. Now, this past season at Houston, he had 9.5 sacks, 13.5 tackles for loss, 1 pass deflection with 32 overall pressures. And I must admit, at the time of recording this video, I was going to use a different edge. I'm not going to say who, but I had a chance to look at some of the one-on-ones that are going on at the Senior Bowl today, and Nelson Cesar was just whooping people. I'm sorry, his quickness was a little too much for every tackle that they put in front of him. He had a plethora of moves, spin moves, in and out, shoulder dip. I mean, he had the whole toolkit, and I think he's going to be somebody to watch, especially for a team that runs a 3-4 and needs that stand-up rusher off the edge. Now, last but certainly not least is defensive tackle out of LSU, Jordan Jefferson, standing at 6'3", 223 pounds. He had 32-inch arms, almost 10-inch hands. Now, Jefferson reportedly runs a 4.7 at 323. We'll see if that's the case when he gets to the combine. Now, this past season at LSU, he had 36 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 1 pass deflection, 1 forced fumble. Now, with that speed, it does show on tape, but he normally doesn't really have a plan of getting off blocks once he gets caught in a bull rush. So we'll see if he can work on some techniques and show some techniques during the Senior Bowl at the practices to prove he can consistently get in the backfield, and make plays. So there we have it. Those are my top 5 defensive players to keep an eye on at the Senior Bowl during the Senior Bowl week. If you found that information helpful, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. This is Draft Capital Sports. We're here for you all draft and NFL offseason. Thank you for watching, and peace.